Hello and welcome to CloudFolks HUB. मेरा नाम है भावेश अटारा. I am inside my ECS console and I am creating task definition. We already discussed about all these options, right? Now we are going to discuss about one of the most important option known as task size in this video. So let's start. What is task size? Task size means how much CPU and memory your ECS task needs to run. It defines the resources ECS will allocate to your task to work properly. Let's forget about task and all this right now. You have one application and you want to run this application inside your EC2 instance. How you are going to set up the things? You will create EC2 instance. During your EC2 instance creation, you will select EC2 instance type. Based on your EC2 instance type, AWS will allocate CPU and RAM to your instance. Now, you have clear idea about resource requirement of your application. So you are allocating maybe 4 virtual CPU, 8 GB of RAM to your EC2 instance. Same way, we are creating task to host application. Now, here application also require resources that we can define for the task as well. It means here we are allocating CPU and RAM or a memory to our task to run application properly inside the task. Now, when you are going to set up task size, we have different options available for Fargate and EC2 instance. Here I am going to start with the Fargate. Now look at over here. When you select AWS Fargate, you have to select CPU and memory. But these two options must be compatible. For example, if I am going to select one virtual CPU for my task, the compatibility RAM can be in between 2 GB to 8 GB. So I am just going to select one virtual CPU for my task. Now, if I am going to select RAM, it can be in between 2 GB to 8 GB. If I am going to select anything else, it will be like incompatible. Okay. Then there is a word like increment 1 GB. What is the meaning of this increment 1 GB? You can increase RAM by adding 1 GB. For example, right now I am using 3 GB RAM and I realize that I want to add more RAM. Then you can select 4. So you have to add 1 GB RAM. You cannot add RAM into the decimal value. For example, you cannot say that 4.1 GB of RAM or 4.2 GB of RAM or 4.6 GB of RAM. It is not possible. You have to add 1 GB incremental value. Right? So in Fargate, you have to select this compatibility and they are actually giving us all this detail. There is a list box. So we are just going to select CPU. Here it is like 0.5 CPU and here it is giving me compatible RAM with the 0.5 CPU. So I am just going to select this. Right? So this is how it works in the Fargate. You must select from the fixed CPU memory combination. Now, in EC2, it is a different. Let's say that if I am going to select EC2, I can give any value over here. So we have this comfortable level with the EC2. But keep this in mind that when you are going to use EC2, you have your EC2 instances part of your ECS cluster. Now, whatever the resources that you are allocating over here to the task size, it must be available in your EC2 instance. For example, let's say that I have my ECS cluster and I have one EC2 instance with T2 micro. Now in T2 micro, we have only one CPU and I am going to create task over here. And if I am going to say that I want to assign one vCPU to my task, there will be issue. Why? Because I have total 1 GB available in my container host and I am allocating 1 GB to my task directly, means when you will launch this task, possibility is there that your EC2 instance cannot allocate proper one CPU to this particular task. In this case, your task will be failed. In short, whenever you are going to use EC2 instance, make sure size of your EC2 instance, and based on your size of EC2 instance, allocate task size. Otherwise, there will be issue, right? Another point that I want to tell you, it is actually a...
Sorry to interrupt you. I know you guys are enjoying our video a lot because our final ultimate goal is Solution Architect Certification Exam. To reach the destination, we required full videos. Path number 1, our 6-in-1 program. Our 6-in-1 program include all prerequisite skills which is needed as a cloud engineer. It include 24/7 support, lifetime update, section-wise practice test, full course practice test with tips and tricks by Bhavesh Atara, how to do exam preparation course, weekly lifetime live session with Bhavesh Atara, and 6 AWS project with documents. Path number 2, you can enroll by paying 499 and get Hindi and English, both the languages, videos of AWS. The choice is yours how to create your success story by choosing best one. Best of luck. Thank you.